Sweet, we're here.
Yay!
Hosting that.
Hi, guys.
Bingo. There we go. Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi, everybody. It's a Thursday, and we are NerdsVote, and today this show is all about bringing you your favorite notable nerds to talk about why voting is important to them. We call it Between Two Nerds, featuring me, JP Karliak, and
Courtenay Taylor. Hi.
Whee! Yeah, I'll get that intro down at some point.
I
Anyway,
like it. Just
we have
kind
an
of some days it's not good, some days it's right on.
Yeah, you know, it's seat of our pants. We have an amazing guest to join us today.
I like it.
You may know him from Bones or
Grimm?
or The Archer. He is known as Michael Grant
Grant
Terry.
Terry.
And it's working and it's happening. I thought I timed it so brilliantly, but it
Damn it.
didn't work for me.
You know what? One of these days.
I know. Technology. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hi, guys.
It's because he's doing a facial.
I had to get fresh for this, my first appearance in 5 months.
Had to get out the old clothes.
How's it going? You guys made me put a collared shirt on for the first time in months, too.
Wow. Fancy.
We didn't make you, but we appreciate it.
Yes, of course. How are we?
We're good. We're good. How are you doing during the quarantine?
I'm good. I've been quite busy. I'm actually producing a podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. So
yeah,
that's launching on the 20th. So it's been good to get my time busy during this. I'm not acting, but it's busy and fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're all doing things we never thought we would ever do, and we're certainly not getting paid for them.
Exactly.
So tell us about the podcast. What's that all about?
Yeah, so every episode, one of the guys brings a guest on and surprises the other two. So it's all done via Zoom, but it's a pretty interesting party conversation where they bring on a guest, surprise the other two, and then they have a hilarious episode. I mean, they're like, I have not laughed as hard as I've laughed listening to the three of them banter with their guests. And we've had like Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Melissa McCarthy, Martin Short, Neil deGrasse Tyson. We're having Stacey Abrams on in a couple of weeks. We have a lot of.
Can we create some email addresses after this? Because
we have them guests.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson's kind of like the, really up there in the nerd universe. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet he would.
Capital N nerd for
Come
sure.
on too. His episode is amazing.
Just a word about NerdsVote.
I will.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's super cool. And I always, being an old fan of Arrested Development, Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, that just instantly ties together. But just throwing Sean Hayes into the mix sounds really like that extra little spice that you don't expect in your salad.
Yeah. So we did an episode with Dax. They're all best friends, the three of them, and they're friends with Dax. And Dax said hilariously, he was like, "Oh, I see what this is. You got two of these guys ragging on me the entire time, and one of them trying to keep it together." And it's like they have such different personalities that it really balances well. Will is absolutely hilarious. Jason's dry, and then Sean's trying to keep the train moving, but also has his own quibs that he throws in all the time. It's really fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you just have to sit there and try and keep your mouth closed as you titter into your soup.
Thankfully, you mean rosé?
Scenery.
Thankfully, I'm not on video with them, and I'm dying of laughter, wandering around my house, listening on my headphones.
Awesome. Yeah, it feels
That's
like
great.
the three of them, like James would be the Dorothy, and Will would be the Sophia, and Sean would be the Rose, which leaves your guest to be the Blanche.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, my wife is better versed in the Golden Girls than I am, but yeah.
We all have a plan.
What do you do with your time, Mike?
Yep, I know.
So, in addition to the podcast, what have you been doing? What have you been How have you been staying inspired and motivated, and just getting through the day?
I mean, honestly, the guests have. I mean, not to stay on the podcast, but the guests of the podcast have kept me motivated. And honestly, it's all hours of the day to do it. So, I mean, when we first started out the quarantine, I was cooking my ass off, and that's kind of gone down the drain a bit. But like originally, it was these massive feasts every single day, every single night. And I have 30 pounds to show for it, but I'm a better chef now.
Yeah.
I also have
You actually trained in some chefing, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I went to the New School of Cooking for 6 months in Pasadena.
Okay.
Right after Bones ended, actually, just for a little change of scenery and to switch things up. It was, once a week for 6 hours a day, but it was a lot of fun. And
That's so awesome. I think that should be required. I'm going to be super sexist right now, but I'm just saying, one partner out of the relationship should have to go to cooking school for 6 months before you, marry or hand fast or do whatever you do.
The funny thing is not to be toot my own horn, but I don't actually necessarily know that I needed it. If anybody needed it, it's probably my wife.
Okay.
No, Christine doesn't cook.
Okay, well, I just have to say, we go back a ways, Mike, and I'm going to say that was not part of the deal. When you guys were dating, the deal was you were the cooker, and she was the funny, hilarious, cute one. That was the deal.
I know. No, I know. I'm happy. I love cooking. It's great.
So what have you whipped up lately that's been the new outside the box thing?
Well, my focaccia game has gotten pretty good, but you know what? We've been toying with sushi rice a lot, and I've been making these bowls with a poached egg, sushi rice, and 3 other accoutrements, whether it's pickled carrots and beef and just mixing things up with that. That's been the go-to recently.
Like a bibimbap kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Just whatever you want. And I have a garden, and that's booming like crazy right now. So it's just been picking things from there. Courtney misses that.
I think I got gypped. I have to tell you, Mike and I used to live in close proximity, and oftentimes he would slide me some bread. And I think I planned this all wrong, because now it's focaccia bread. Before it was just quick bake. It was great. And even now I go to my pantry and I pull out some Fleischmann's yeast or whatever. And I'm like, I miss Mike. But now it's focaccia. I got to come find you. I'm going to do a drive-by in a face mask and be like.
Well, actually I have to tell the first story of when Courtney and I met, when I replied to the Craigslist ad to live in your back house. And I pulled up in a red Mercedes, which was the loaner car that I got from the dealership. And I remember being like, this is not my car. And Courtney was like, oh, I seriously judged you when you pulled up in that red Mercedes.
Yeah, it was. First of all, I love to tell people that I got Mike on Craigslist, because that's amazing. And second of all, the hoopty, weird, pimpy car that he showed up in, I was like,
it's not going to work.
I want you living real close to me.
Right.
But it turned out that it was a loaner, and everything was fine, and we hit it off, and we're, drinking white wine that night.
Immediately. And now I have a red Hummer.
So it worked out great. So you never know what you'll get on Craigslist, guys.
Exactly.
You have a red Hummer now?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, that's brilliantly
he has a minivan now.
Environmentally safe.
I don't have a minivan. Thank you very much.
Does it have a little button? Does the car you drive now have a button?
On the trunk.
The side door.
On the trunk, not the side door. I have a Chevy Traverse. Thank you. I love it.
Just saying. That's the new minivan. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So,
for anybody just tuning
welcome
in.
to NerdsVote, guys. If you don't know who we are nerds who want to push the importance of voting into the nerdiverse. And we just interview lots of nerds, and we have a great website called nerdsvotecom, where you can go and register to vote. check your status, get all kinds of information about voting. And we do this nifty little, I don't know, what is this, a live stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Yeah. And if you're here for us and you don't know who he is, that's Michael Grant Terry, actor extraordinaire, bread chef, and all-around amazing guy. Carry on.
By the way, I've never done Instagram Live. It took me a minute. I was like panicking trying to get on here because I'm not very versed in this world. So
it makes perfect sense once you've done it, but the first time is.
I'm sweating. I was sweating trying to get on here because I was like, I'm gonna fuck this up. This is not gonna work. Like so.
For anybody tuning in, if you have any questions for Mike, feel free to throw them in the little question mark box down the bottom. We'll get to some questions later. And also in the pinned comment down there, we partner with this website called Motivote. If getting big things done always feels daunting for you, like going to the gym, I know it does for me. Motivote is a great platform that breaks registering and actually going to vote into small bite-sized chunks, and you get positive reinforcement for each one you accomplish in the form of points, which you can redeem for prizes. So like the beautiful pin that Courtney is holding right there. Do the zoom in and out of the camera. Woo! There we go.
I'm not great at this part. Hold on. I got to get, there we go.
There it
That's
is.
nice.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah, so check that out. So, Mike, since we're, first and foremost, we'll start with the first part of our name, nerds. So what's your nerd thing? What do you nerd out about?
What do I nerd out about? I mean, honestly, I think it's cooking. I mean, I think cooking is my nerdy thing. Yeah. Christine just yelled Below Deck. So Below Deck is one of my favorite shows on television. The Star
Trek one.
No, Below Deck.
Oh, sorry.
No, but I actually love, I mean, I grew up watching Star Trek The Next Generation. That was my show growing up. Obviously Star Wars. Yeah, those are probably my big nerd things. But cooking is probably the biggest one. If you consider that nerdy, I think I do.
Sure.
Well, and also you played a huge nerd on TV.
That's true.
I mean,
and I do.
Wendell Bray was pretty nerdy.
He was pretty nerdy. I do really enjoy learning medical things. I mean, like, because I loved learning all the medical stuff for that show. We had a medical advisor named Donna every week who we all would meet with her if you wanted to go over exactly what your medical dialogue was and what it meant and what, physical activities you could do to accompany that. Sure. So I love that. I actually was watching, there's a show on Netflix called Lenox Hill, which I was watching last night, which is all about the one of the ER hospitals in Manhattan. So I do nerd out about that medical stuff too.
That's fair.
He would be trying to learn all this crazy medical lingo, and I would just walk, he's trying to get off book, and I just walk by. I'm like, here's my script. I get to look at it every session. And he was just like, man, I gotta try a little VO. This is a lot.
Yeah.
Like 18 pages. It was insane.
And then I still remember mocap, and it all goes out the window.
I still remember dialogue from it too.
Oh, you do? From
panicked moments, because like sometimes we would get text the day of, and it's a scene that's really fast, and like I found avulsion fractures along the proximal humerus. Also, the heads of each femur are dislocated from the acetabula. Like that line will be in my head for the rest of my life. I don't know why. It's just there. It's because I was so panicked and had to run it so many times that it's there.
Yeah, it's deep in the.
And it's an amazing skill. I mean, I think once you have to learn that kind of stuff for bones, I mean, really anything else, you're just like, it's probably. I mean.
Sort of, but like,
now, right?
It's weird.
Like skill that you can just kind of pick up the lines and it must have served you well.
Sort of.
Or have you gotten lucky?
But like, I look at some friends, like my friend Pej, who played Aristu on Bones. He memorizes in like a second. Like, and I still have to spend hours and hours. Like, I wish that it was easier. I don't know that it's like, yes, I can do it in a night, but like, I'm still freaking out. Whereas I know people who can literally look at scripts for a second and they're cool. I do think though, like when I know this is a cliche thing to say, but when it's good dialogue, it's really easy to memorize. Like I find that with auditions, I always know I'm like, oh, this is a good script because I memorized it so fast. when it's hard to memorize, you're like, that's clunky and not good.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like too sometimes, like if it's not necessarily good or bad, but just
I love that one of the
that
comments, they knew exactly what episode it was from.
And it's familiar to me, then I'm like, oh, this is so easy. I'm like, it should be like this all the time. And then 90% of the time, I'm like, crying in the corner, rocking back and forth, trying to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of that, a lot of weeping.
Yeah, a lot of weeping, a lot of fetal position.
A lot of crying.
But you know what? It's good to hear it, because I remember thinking when I started out acting, people didn't really talk about that stuff, about like, yeah, this is really hard. This is a super hard skill, and or stage fright or anything like that. And I thought I was the only person that had it. And I was like, well, I guess I shouldn't be an actor because I have stage fright, or I have a hard time memorizing lines a lot of the time. And now people are like, oh yeah, it's awful. I have to get coached. I have to do this. I have things taped all over my apartment. I'm like, thank you. I wish I had known this 20 years ago.
I mean, I still get nervous going to auditions. I mean, I do. And it's weird. It's like, I don't know how many hundreds of auditions I've been on, but like, it's probably good. It keeps you humble. There are times when I think that I don't know why the levels are so high, but I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, that energy fuels you. If you walked in although I will say, most of the things that I've booked were the ones that I've been like, oh God, I don't have time for this right now. All right, I'll just give it a shot. At least when back in the day when I did on camera, that was the case. I find the voiceover I have to care significantly more about.
Yeah, exactly.
So in addition to we're NerdsVote, so the nerds thing, but there's also the vote thing. So do you have a specific voting memory that comes to mind? First time you voted, or just somewhere along the way?
Yeah, I was thinking about this coming on, so my first day of college was actually September 11th, literally my first day.
Oh.
So my classes were canceled. I think of that time period as being a pretty instrumental, administration and everything that went on then for voting to be so important then. And I was voting absentee because I'm from Pennsylvania, and I went to school in Boston. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking how important it was for me to carry my vote in Pennsylvania at that time.
Yeah.
And so I voted, by mail, absentee then. So that's a pretty early one for me. I vote by mail always now, just because I just think it's the easiest way to do it. And, as actors, we're not always afforded the time to go vote. I've worked on voting day, and like, yes, you can, it's your legal right to go, but things get in the way, and I don't ever want that to get in the way. So I find voting by mail to be really, really important, and it keeps me on my toes, and it makes me do it prior and do the research prior and look through packets and like not be blindsided by voting day and have to run in there and make last minute decisions.
Yeah. Courtney and
we
I
are big
also
fans of the vote by mail
Yeah.
here.
We are also vote by mail
both, for those kinds of reasons, obviously for scheduling reasons, but also I just like to have the option. If I have it in hand, I can always take it in on voting day, skip the line, pop it in the box, and be done with it. Or if I'm, friends from the neighborhood are online, I can hang out and stand in line with them if I have time.
Right.
But I can also just pop it in the mail and forget about it once I have like a day, or half a day or an evening put aside to look at those things. I pop it in the mail, and then it's done, and I can just sort of pay attention to things as they unfold without being like, okay, I got to remember, Tuesday, I got to make sure I have time around work. So, we love options here at NerdsVote.
I do too, and I also think it's like, I hope that it continues to expand, in other states, because like you look at what happened in Kentucky recently and the amount of polling places that were open for 800,000 residents. It was like one, so it's like, that makes it impossible for people to vote in person, and that's un-American and a horrible thing.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Which is why we're so for anybody out there that is registered to vote but would also like to receive an absentee ballot, it's different for every state. Some of us are going to automatically get one, which sweet.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't. Some of us have to provide excuses. There's all sorts of stuff. So visit our website, nerdsvotecom. You'll see a little thing that's registered to vote by mail that will walk you through all the steps you need to be able to get an absentee ballot no matter where you are.
Yes, and we also have Ivy on our chat, who is part of our the NerdsVote cadre, and if you have questions, you can fire away at her in the chat from time to time. If you do get an absentee ballot application and it says you have to give an excuse and COVID-19 is not on there, you can write it in as an excuse.
Because pandemic usually counts. Usually.
Yeah, here's something. But yeah, I mean, the important thing is too in these times to not only just take care of the voting like it was any other time period in the history of the United States, but also to realize that this year is going to be a year with everything that's going on that you really do need to get a voting plan together. And that means not leaving it to the last minute, either voting by mail, but also making sure that you're on the roll still, that your address is correct. So you're going to get those things mailed to you, or you are at the right polling station, or if your polling station has moved. All of these things require a little extra elbow grease this voting season. So, and when you go, expect that there's going to be lines. So bring, a football chair, some water, snacks, or whatever. Bring friends and socially distance while you do it. But yeah, be aware this season is going to be different.
Sorry, dogs.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 3 dogs.
Five.
5 million. 5 million dogs.
Oh, look, there's one. One in the back. It's right behind you.
I have a little Maltese mix. I have a retriever mixed with Akita, and an Australian cattle dog. All rescues. Dog rescues. All rescues.
Excellent. We are big fans of the rescue.
There's one.
Here.
Yeah. I was going to say, too, that just to go back to the voting thing, the other ease of the mail-in ballot, I've actually moved, I think, 11 times in my 17 years in Los Angeles.
Sure.
And makes it exponentially difficult to find your polling place. But I do remember my other big memory, and not to get super political, is 2016. I actually voted in person, and I felt that it was an important in-person vote for some reason. It just felt to me, I wanted to go in there and do it in person. So I'd say do that too if that's important to you. Yeah.
And and as Courtney mentioned, that's the beauty of the flexibility you have with a mail-in ballot, that if you decide the day of, like, I'm actually going to go to the polling place and feel that, you could just go in and drop it in, and you don't have to wait in line, but you do get the benefit of feeling like you were there and did the thing. And
exactly.
Or you can also just turn in your vote by mail ballot, and they'll give you a provisional ballot right there. So you can go into the booth and fill it out and get that feeling. And of course, you get a sticker no matter how you vote.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did. I turned it in and did it there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the swag. It's all about the sticker.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Mike, when a question that we love to ask our guests is, who are you voting for? And when we say that, we don't mean candidates or any of that. We specifically mean when you're casting your ballot this November, what person or people will you have in mind that you want that ballot to benefit or affect?
I think the best word I could say is equality. I mean, really, I think that everybody should have the same rights in our country. I think that you probably can discern who I'm voting for, but I think that our country's, lost its way in many ways, but it's not gone. And I think that, we just need to think about equal rights for everybody in our country.
Yeah.
I think compassion is there as well. I think compassion for the citizens, and compassion for immigrants, and compassion for LGBTQ people, and compassion for, women. I think equal rights on all those fronts.
Yeah, absolutely. We've definitely, a very well-polished mirror has been held up to society over the past few months. And I think we're all taking a very hard look at ourselves and the systems that we've perpetuated for a very long time. And one of the, not the only, but one of the biggest ways that we can affect change in those areas is voting.
Yeah.
Yes, and also, of course, if you are in love with any charities, nonprofit groups that you like, support those. Mike, I don't know if you have any that you are fond of, but
I've
been donating to like the NAACP. It's just me personally. Nothing to do with the show itself, but I was really impressed and touched and upset and angry about what was going on and what is still going on. And so now's the time. If you have a few dollars, great. And if not, maybe you can do some phone banking or some kind of support in for those nonprofits. Also, you know, zoos and all those other things as well. There's a whole range of nonprofits that need assistance at the moment. We had Ian Harding on. Was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Mm-hmm. And he's a big proponent for lupus because his mom has lupus. And so it's cool to hear about and see that he's done a lot of stuff for them over the last 10 years. It's really cool.
Yeah, ACLU is some place that I've donated to as well, especially pretty immediately after the 2016 election. And, you know, we got one of our dogs at Wags and Walks. I love Wags and Walks. I think they're a great place.
I followed him on the Instagram.
Yes, I do too. And it's dangerous because we may have 10 dogs soon.
Every time I come over, there's a new dog.
I think, what is it, 10? Is 10 the legal limit in LA?
Who's counting?
I think so. Then you become a hoarder.
Yeah. At least it's not cats. Sorry, cat people.
No. That's a big litter box.
Also, speaking of which, you know, Wendell had a cat on Bones, like 8 seasons in, and I was like, what the fuck? Why does he have a cat? Why are you writing this in? I do
not identify with this character
He does not have cats. Yeah.
It's over. Kill him off. There's a lot of cat lovers who are gonna.
It's not why they gave you cancer, was it?
Yeah, maybe they're like, he hates cats. We're giving you cancer now.
Yeah, that's why they put you in that outfit you hated that one time.
That one time?
Remember, you did like some
cardigan
retro episode.
There was like, oh, that one, yeah. No, I mean, it's funny. You have to fight for the integrity of your character, and it's like, what's so interesting about television is that you learn about your character on a like yearly basis because you have your own backstory that you've built, and then they'll write an episode that's like, oh, you worked in a brewery for like 5 years and like broke your ankle.
No, I was summering in Japan.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And did you have a lot of input with him? Or were you just like, yes, sir, I love summering in Japan? Oh, wait, no, working in the brewery in Portland. Well, I put myself
I kill to do both of those things right now. I did. I mean, like, they would run things by me and tell me what's coming. You know, like, I wouldn't necessarily have a say in the story arc, but like, you know, for example, speaking of the cancer episode, there was a speech with me and Booth where I basically am saying I'm just going to give up and go away. And I reminded them that in my very first episode of the show, I speak about how my dad died of cancer from smoking cigarettes. And from nobody's fault, but they had kind of forgotten that because it was, you know, 8 years later and it's never been talked about again.
Right.
And so they added that into the monologue of because I thought it was important that I was like, you know, if I'm talking about cancer and I'm going to die, we need to reference that my father died of cancer because I think that's a big impetus for why I want to run away. It's a big, you know, so other than that, I mean, you know, it was funny to learn. I always laughed because Wendell had like, not to joke about the brewery and all that stuff, Wendell had like 17 jobs. He was like a taxi driver, a bus mechanic. He worked in a brewery. Like he just did all these other things before, which I like because it's like, you know, yeah, he loved all these different things.
Odd jobs guy, man of many talents.
Right.
Well, there's always one person in your life that's like that though, where you're like, how are you 29 years old and you've literally had 16 jobs and gone to 4 colleges?
I know.
There's always one.
I know.
And Wendell was that guy.
Yep.
Wendell was that person. So since we're on Bones, we're going to take an audience question.
Get ready.
Who's better, Booth or Bones?
That was the question.
That's my drum roll.
Yeah.
Who's better?
Mm-hmm.
Who's better at what? That's a general question.
I think it's personal preference. I think that's.
For the character, for Wendell, Booth. But I think that Booth is his friend, and I think that Bones is his mentor.
Oh, Good answer. Very
Yeah.
not only diplomatic, but also
Yes, exactly.
adds some depth to the character.
Well, jumping off on that then, because this is one of my new favorite questions, is who in the Bones cast, which character would be the best option for president? If you were going to vote for someone for president out of your castmates, let's go personally and professionally, character and individual.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm going to give it to him. I think I'm going to give it to Pej.
Oh, okay.
No, you do, because that's Pej. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
What were you going to? Why did you say no, Courtney?
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Of course, he's a Niners fan. He has to be president.
That's a deciding factor.
I'd also like to see,
That totally is. Well, of course, and he's terribly good looking, and he's a great actor. And of course, he would just be like, but yeah, because he's a Niners fan, and he's from my hometown. So there's never been a president from San Francisco.
I don't think that Brennan would be able to handle being president. I don't think her mind would work well enough to do that. You know what I mean? So I think that she'd be a little awkward. That would be my other choice, but I don't think that's correct. Although it would be fun to see Daisy be president because she'd be whimsical and crazy. So she's one of the other interns.
Can we throw someone off our thread? I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody's a Chiefs fan, and they've got to go. Just kidding. Love you, Sean.
This is about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly on the Instagram.
Go Eagles. Let's just say that.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
He knows me.
We're both Pennsylvanians.
So. Oh, you are too as well?
Yes, Scranton.
Scranton, nice.
Yes. I don't pronounce it like I'm from Scranton, but that's years of work.
Yeah, we can talk in the Philadelphia accent if you want.
Scranton?
You can go down to Scranton, get some water, take our towels down there.
That's what he did.
Down the shore.
Correct pronunciation of Scranton is without the T. It's Scranton.
Scranton.
Okay, so here's my thing. Remember, so JT, remember I asked you about Johns?
Yeah, Johns.
Yes, not a Scranton
thing. So JT, I was like, does everybody call him Johns? And he was like, what? And I was like, I have a friend from wherever you're from in Pennsylvania.
2 hours north.
He's talking about Johns, like Jawn, and it's like a catch-all thing, right? For just anything.
Johns is for anything. You can say, yo, I took a bite of that John and it tasted so good. Or, yo, that John's going to get fucked up. Or, did you see that John over there? Like, they made me laugh so hard.
It's just a generic pronoun, basically.
Pass me that John, like whatever you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it specifically to Philly, and that's why Scranton doesn't use it?
Not a Scranton thing.
Yes, I think it's Philly. It maybe is Baltimore. I find that Philly and Baltimore have similar accents and similar, sayings, but I think it's Philly.
Do you put an R in wash?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's Balmer.
Yeah.
Scranton is known for Hena. That's our word. It's
Hena?
Hena. As in ain't it. Like that was quite a storm last night. Hena or no?
I love it.
Ain't it or not is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, Pennsylvania has because I think Pittsburgh's is Yins.
Pittsburgh's the worst. Pittsburgh is the absolute worst.
Yin's gonna go down to go see Steelers Day. Yin's gonna do it's slurring is what it is. Pennsylvania is all about slurring and not saying.
I was gonna say.
Well, we have enough breweries.
Coming out of my iPad,
right.
It just sounds like you're drunk.
Yeah. Right.
I think was it Gawker that a few years ago did a bracketed poll of the worst American accents, and the final two were Scranton and Pittsburgh won.
Yeah, I get it.
And we were disappointed.
I think Philly might be worse, honestly. I don't know. Maybe I need to spend more time in Pittsburgh.
I will say that I think the only reason that Pittsburgh won is because Zachary Quinto, who is from Pittsburgh, was avidly campaigning to win.
Okay.
So, wow.
Yeah. I'm one of the biggest celebrities from Scranton, so if that doesn't tell you everything.
Yeah, and it's not really fair because Scranton's bitty compared to Pittsburgh, right?
We're third. Philly, Pittsburgh, and then Scranton is the third largest metropolitan area in the in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yep.
Because I thought from John, or from the when they bought the train for the town, it sounded like cute and small. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, it's cute and small. Oh, when John Oliver sent the giant train set to our electric city museum. Oh, wait, Court, hold on. Your sound went out. Are you back? Yeah. There we go. All right, we're back. Sorry.
Thanks. Technical difficulties.
We have to get the behind the scenes, we have a Bluetooth speaker that Courtenay talks out of that's right below my phone so that you can hear what she's saying. Then just died. So anyway, back to,
Scranton.
let's see. Yeah, Scranton, John Oliver. Let's see.
And the train.
Yes. No, I was just looking to see if there were any more questions. Everybody, of course, is asking, when is Bones coming back? Will there ever be another season of Bones? I want another season of Bones. Please bring back Bones.
Yeah, it's coming back next month. We just finished shooting the next episode.
It's all on Zoom.
I'm sorry. That's a lie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't tease them.
I know.
We're all very emotionally fresh right now. Mike, I don't.
Back to the fetal position, everyone. Back to the fetal position.
Yep.
I remember the first time I actually saw you was you did a show at Celebration Theater in Los Angeles called Stupid Kids. In 2008, I think it was, that I Googled. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was the writer's strike. So is that 2008, I think
Right around there.
Yeah.
And I mean, looking back at the 4 people who starred in that show, it is crazy. It was you, Tessa Thompson, aka Valkyrie, aka many, many, many other things. Kelly Schumann, who's now on Superstore. And Ryan Spann, who's an amazing theater actor.
Yeah.
And you, of course, on Bones. I mean, like, that show did some stuff.
That was before any of us had really. Tessa had done Veronica Mars, but like we had.
Which you've also done, yeah. Which you
that's my first acting credit, actually. Oddly, I mean, that or Cold Case. I forget which one was first, but yeah, they that opened up so many. Look, I mean, to be honest, that is why I'm producing this podcast. I mean, it's crazy. The director of that show, his husband is Todd Milliner, who's Sean Hayes' partner for Hazy Mills. So, I mean, that show definitely laid the groundwork for an amazing career and friendship and everything. And what's really funny is I read it and I hated it, and I nearly didn't do it. But it was there was nothing else going on, and I loved it after performing it. It's just a really odd play on paper. Do you know what I mean? It's
sure.
Not,
yeah.
You have to see it.
You couldn't memorize it instantly.
Right. Exactly.
No, I remember it being an amazing show. Most of the shows that, so for the audience out there who's not from Los Angeles, Celebration used to be in a different space than it was now, and it was noted for the giant pole that was right in the middle of the stage. It was a supporting beam. There's nothing you could do with it except work around it. And I always remember the shows that I saw there based upon what they did with the pole.
Yeah.
And I just remember you guys climbing on the pole.
We climbed it a lot. I mean, I also think, and like, not to toot Michael Matthews' horn or anything, but I think that was a pretty turning point of the direction of that theater company too. Their shows are just amazing. And I think that
so good.
He's the best director I've ever worked with. I've worked with him on 3 or 4 other shows since then. So, and he's going to go on to be a huge, amazing director. He already is, but I think he's got a lot left to give.
He is he's very gifted. He's also 40? So yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of work ahead of him. Awesome. We just gonna something else. Oh, are you a fan? So you've mentioned the Eagles. Are you a Flyers fan?
Yeah.
Post that.
Yeah, although I will say, this is getting me in trouble. I do like the Kings too. My sons both play hockey, and we've gone to a lot of Kings games. So I do enjoy the Kings as well. I think I've gotten into hockey more now as an adult than I was when a kid. I was really into baseball and football. But but with my boys playing hockey, they play ice hockey. Now I'm like way more into it.
Sure. It's a
So,
great spectator sport. I
Oh.
mean, I am such a sports ball idiot, but but hockey is really fun to watch.
And it's so expeditious. It's great. Like, you're super busy. You go to a baseball game, you could be there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
7 hours. Hockey's just like, bam, 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 get out.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of each other and then we move on.
And it's cold.
Exactly.
I'm a sweater, and I'm like, give me a cold room to watch a sports game in. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I will always remember I had a great outing with my dad when we went to see the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins, which is a farm team for the Flyers. Yeah, it was super fun. We had pizza and beers and just watched in a blissfully 40-degree stadium. You know, it was really nice.
It's amazing.
Oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Unfortunately, the boy, we're sad because the boys' hockey rink is closing. I think because of everything that's been going on. It's in Valencia, and oddly enough, where they play hockey is where we shot the Bones hockey episode. So it's been an interesting full circle. So, but unfortunately, I think they're losing funding, and the Kings just bought out Pickwick and Burbank just last year. So I don't know if anybody's gonna be coming to save it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking to see all these kids who have been training and who are going to school and really want to play sports and all that. I can't imagine the disappointment that is sort of ricocheting around kids right now, all the way up to it's hard for everybody, but I just feel like especially bad for kids who are having to deal with this with school and sports and so uncertain.
Totally.
But anyway, so what kind of ice cream are you eating?
What kind of ice cream? I haven't been eating much ice cream, actually, to be honest, because I've been ordering everything from Farm Fresh and Butcher Box. So I'm not really going to, I've been to the store like 3 times this entire time.
Well done.
But my favorite ice cream place is McConnell's. It's my favorite ice cream place.
Good choice.
Ice
cream is their Earl Grey and shortbread biscuit.
Delicious. As is their Turkish coffee. Really good.
I do see. I have 5 favorite ice cream places. I always have 3 pints in the freezer. Lately, it's been rotating between Jenny's and Van Leeuwen's.
What's that?
McConnell's is up there.
I don't know those. I don't know those.
Oh, Jenny's and Van Leeuwen's are amazing. Jenny's is a Midwestern chain, and Van Leeuwen's, I think, is Brooklyn, Williamsburg. But they're delicious. Between them and Salt and Straw and McConnell's and sometimes Cool House.
Yeah, I think so. I think McConnell's beats Salt and Straw to me. A, because I don't like lines, and B, because Salt and Straw delves into some of the weird stuff that I don't really care for. I'm a purist a little bit with ice cream. Like, give me a really good vanilla bean or like vanilla and peanut butter, and that's delicious. Oh, hi there.
Brie flavor?
Brie, yeah, exactly. Ugh.
No.
You see,
somebody escaped her room to come out and say hi to you.
Hi.
Voice had busted through the door, so just wanted to kick her out, but say hello before she left.
Hi, Miss Lou. I love the snaggletooth. Yeah, I love the Salt and Straw weird, but I do think I just love weird, but I think McConnell's pulls off quality better.
I agree. Agreed.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm in Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah, but I used to live in East Hollywood, and there was a whole bunch of ice cream places right on Hillhurst. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would just hit those all the way up.
Oh yeah.
What's the one, Angeli's?
Oh, the gelato place? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Real good.
I want to try that one, but it's far from my house and it's COVID time, so.
Yeah. Mike, the way that we usually sign off our thing is we usually ask everybody to, because we started by interviewing mostly voiceover actors, so we would be like, tell us who your favorite character is, and they would sign off as that character. So just for shits. Would you sign off as Wendell and just tell everybody to get out there and vote?
Bye, everybody. Please get out there and vote and follow NerdsVote. Thanks.
Perfect. Exactly what we needed. I don't feel the need for a retake there. I think.
Perfect. Great. One and done.
Felt the emotion.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for everybody out there, please follow NerdsVote at NerdsVote and visit our website to find out more about registering to vote and getting an absentee ballot. And be sure to check out Motivote, which is in the pinned comment, so you can win prizes for just doing some simple actions and get like a pin for just doing simple actions around registering and actually voting.
And also make sure that you listen to Mike's podcast, which
Yeah.
is on Mike.
When is it again?
Smartless. It's on July 20th. And you can go, the trailer's up right now. You can go and subscribe on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, we'll check it out. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Great to see you. Say hi to the wifey.
I will. Bye. Good to see you.
Bye. That was awesome. Yeah, so everybody, we will be back on Tuesday with another amazing special guest. We'll announce them on Saturday, so stay tuned to this channel to find out what's happening next.
Have a great day.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.